As we head into our valedictory session, we have guests, special guests, former Foreign Secretary and Ambassador Shyam Saran, who's Padma Bhushan, and he's here with us. Then Lieutenant General Vipul Singhal, AVSM SM. DG USI, Major General BK Sharma, Air Marshal Sachdev, and Squadron Leader Rana Chinna. They are our special guests for the valedictory session. So let me just tell my audience a little about our guests by the time the stage winds up. Everyone, I don't need to introduce Ambassador Shyam Saran. He doesn't need any introduction for that matter. He's been our Foreign Secretary. He has been ambassador also. He career diplomat, and he's been India's ambassador to Myanmar, Indonesia, Nepal, and High Commissioner to Mauritius. And he's called a China expert. So in our journalistic parlance or others also, we'll call him a China hawk. In 2011, Saran was awarded the Padma Bhushan by the President of India for his contribution to civil services. He's also the president of India International Center, who is partnered with us. Then Lieutenant General Vipul Singhal, AVSM, he's a second generation army officer, and he's currently the deputy chief in the Integrated Defense Staff headquarters. Next guest is Major General BK Sharma, AVSM SM. He's the Director General of USI. In fact, he's the guest also, and he's the host also, in a way. Then I have Air Marshal Rajiv Sachdev, who is member of USI Council. And last is Squadron Leader Rana Chinna. He is Director Center for Military History and Conflict Studies. So this is going to be, I think, very nostalgic. The 2 days that we spent here, lot of interactions, lot of ideas, exchange, and I would want to speak from my heart. I think I've got attached to these 2 days to IIC and to USI and to this military festival. As we come to the end of the 2-day Indian Military Heritage Festival organized by USI, I can vouch that these 2 days have been the most intellectually enriching 2 days. I dare say that the discussions that happened here in the last 48 hours are a rare documentation of our historical facts, particularly of our defense domain. It's time to bid goodbye to this festival, to hopefully return back next year and in a much bigger way. I would request and invite our guests on stage. Ambassador Saran, then DG USI Major General BK Sharma, Lieutenant General Vipul Singhal, AVSM SM, Air Marshal Sachdeva, and Squadron Leader Rana Chinna. Can I request you for a group photograph, please? I would now request DG USI Major General BK Sharma to address the gathering. General Sharma.
Ambassador Saran sir, Deputy Chief of Integrated Staff, my colleagues from the USI, As we say, all good things must come to an end, but this is not an end. I think we just would start preparing for the third season of the festival, which is going to be next year. You see, I just want to acknowledge here that this Indian Military Heritage Festival is the brainchild of squadron leader Rana Chinna, who is a noted historian world over. And I had to very reluctantly embrace this idea, and he's been ably supported by Dr. Archana Tyagi, who is, I think, she is the life and blood of the festival. And of course, there has been a lot of support which came from Air Marshal Sachdeva, who also is the president of the Board of Management of Center for Conflict Studies. And there are unsung heroes and heroines here from Center for Military History and Conflict Studies and the team USI as a whole. Now, we know that most of you have been present here for these 2 days, and what are the major events that took place here? One was that series of book releases, then was the Shaurya Gatha program, that is to create an ecosystem of preservation and promotion of India's military heritage. We had exhibitions from the services and the DRDO, and there were a number of very interesting sessions starting from India's military culture, key wars that India has fought, the 2 great wars, and thereafter the post-independence war. Then we had session on geopolitics with focus on Pakistan and China, because they form a hybrid, collision hybrid threat for India. And that was followed up by sessions on niche and disruptive technologies, Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is Make in India, and other things that were there was about, strategic leadership in the information age, which is going to be a very big challenge. And towards the end, we had participation of youth who had done their research on India's strategic culture. There's been a very good participation from all walks of life, the armed forces and scholars, the NCC cadets, the youth, university students. We had panelists. There were about 22 panels altogether, and I'm grateful to our friends from United Kingdom who came all the way from UK to participate and share their own thoughts and experiences here. And of course, this whole event was live telecasted, and the major role was played by this radio FM 92.5, the big FM. So we are really grateful, and of course I know that Rana is going to include all this in his vote of thanks. Now, we were really grateful to give to Ambassador Saran, who I think in a way is, I would say, a father of USI, because that building which has come up there, the beautiful building, he was the Joint Secretary in the Prime Minister's office, and he was able to sort of have us release about 2.5 crores despite much resistance from different quarters. So since then he's been associated with the USI. Now coming to today's concluding talk by Ambassador Saran, we know that India is at the cusp of its strategic destiny. Today we are working in a world which is, characterized by what you call contested polarity, multipolarity, and then we of course have our own societal problems within India, because we are a huge nation. So societal cohesiveness is an issue here. Comprehensive national development is an issue. Some of our border states which share borders with Pakistan and China, there are some manageable internal security problems. And then of course we have this, the biggest problem is about strategic balancing between the big powers. These are some of the challenges that India faces, and of course, technology, empowerment, self-reliance, all these are the problems. So we would like to request Ambassador Saran firstly to give his impressions about the Military Heritage Festival and then share some of his thoughts on how to navigate India's strategic futures in this world which is characterized by volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity and complexity. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, General Sharma, Director General of USI. I also would like to acknowledge Air Marshal Sachdeva, Lieutenant General Singhal, and Squadron Leader Rana Chinna on the stage who are present with us. And a very good evening to all of you present here this evening to celebrate the closing of this remarkable festival that we have been witness to over the last couple of days. Really, what a sumptuous feast it has been with very soul-stirring music, which we just heard, very colorful exhibitions, stimulating discussions on a whole range of topics, and in particular events which celebrate the various glorious traditions of the Indian armed forces. Our spirits have really been lifted, and it is such a wonderful idea to expose our general society to this wonderful heritage of our armed forces, because after all, this is not just military heritage, it is our national heritage. It's very much part and parcel of our national heritage. The history of the armed forces is very much part and parcel of our national history. And therefore, certainly it was time for us to get out of our narrow corridors and closed rooms to really expose the rest of not only the country but to the world this glorious tradition, which in some way has been kept locked up in almirahs and in dusty rooms. I think it was about time that it saw the light of day, and I'm very, very grateful to the USI and to its Center of Military History and Conflict Studies for having conceptualized this initiative and brought it to us. And I'm very happy. As president of the India International Center, we have had the privilege of collaborating together with the USI to have this festival on our premises. So thank you very much for this wonderful experience. General Sharma talked about how I should be speaking about navigating the international, a very, very fraught international landscape. I think you have heard enough of that over the last 2 days. We have had several panel discussions, looking at what the world is looking like at this point of time. Let me just say that, we in India feel that we are today in a good place. We have perhaps what people call a kind of a geopolitical sweet spot, which if we can leverage to our advantage, I have no doubt that we have a very bright future ahead. Let me also talk about my association with the USI. I'm very proud to be a life member of the USI because of my very close association with General Rodriguez, who was the army chief when the USI in its present building was being conceptualized. There has been over the last several years, certainly in my experience as a professional diplomat, how much actually synergy there can be between Ministry of External Affairs and our armed forces in terms of promotion of India's external interests. So let me just, before I end, just mention to you that in 2004, 2005, I was India's Foreign Secretary. And if you recall, at that time, we had the tsunami. And a lot of our neighboring countries in Southeast Asia were very badly impacted by that natural disaster. And one of the countries which was first off the block, in a sense, to deliver very urgently needed relief supplies, materials to our neighboring countries and even to Southeast Asian countries like Thailand and Indonesia was in fact the Indian Navy. Before other navies had actually got into the act, the Indian Navy had already started doing that. Believe me, it was not easy because we ourselves had been impacted by the tsunami. Our Andaman and Nicobar Islands, some of our coastal areas were very badly impacted. And yet, our naval forces under Admiral Arun Prakash did a yeoman service in that respect. We worked very closely together, the Indian Navy and the Ministry of External Affairs, and that kind of a very close coordination and collaboration really made a huge impact, because within a week, I had calls from my counterparts in the United States, in Japan, in Australia, who were also mounting their own relief, effort, and they wanted to work very closely with us. By the way, that is the birth of the Quad, the quadrilateral, grouping that we talk about. For nearly 2 weeks, every day, I used to have a kind of a coordination session with my counterparts in these 4 countries, and then I would have meeting together with our naval headquarters to coordinate how we could do the best job in terms of delivery of supplies. And it was because of the experience that our partners had, that here was a country which had, in fact, the capability of being able to, deliver relief over such long distances in such a highly professional manner. This was something which impressed a lot of our neighboring countries. So just to give you an example of how working together, our External Affairs Ministry and our Defense Forces, there is such a lot of a synergy between the two that we can really do a very good job in doing that. So in that sense, all the panel discussions that you have had over the last couple of days, where we have looked at so many interesting things which are happening in the world. We have a Trump presidency again. We don't know what that means for us. We have wars taking place in Europe. There is a war taking place next door here in West Asia and the Gulf. So we are living in a very disturbed kind of a world. And therefore, it is I would say that in this very disturbed world, India is a kind of a zone of stability and a zone of forward movement, and therefore it can play a very, very important role. In that sense, I think as I mentioned, a great future awaits us. So thank you once again, General, for inviting me to deliver the closing remarks. And I wish you all the very best, all of you present here, and we look forward to the next military festival next year. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. I'd now request Director CMHCS, Squadron Leader Rana Chinna, for a vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. It now devolves on me to have the last word. As a married man, I'm not used to that, but I'll give it my best shot. Ambassador Shyam Saran, sir, thank you very much for your very incisive closing remarks. As always, it's a great pleasure, and I'd like to thank you and the IIC for being our co-hosts and being so gracious, so helpful, and we look forward to our long association with you. I'd also like to thank, of course, all our panelists who made this second edition of the Indian Military Heritage Festival a great success. I can't name each and every one of you, but our heartfelt thanks go to all. Our honored guest, the DCIDS Lieutenant General Vipul Shingle. Thank you, sir, for sparing your time to be with us, and all your encouragement and support has really made all of this possible. Air Marshal Sachdeva, sir, thank you, Chairman of my Board of Management. He's been a consistent pillar of strength, support, guidance, so we're very grateful to you for that. As, of course, to our Director General, Major General B.K. Sharma. Thank you, sir. Or none of this would have been possible without you. All the various agencies that have supported us officially, the Ministry of Defense, the Department of Military Affairs. In particular, I'd like to thank Rear Admiral Vikram Menon, the Joint Secretary, Navy and Defense Staff over there. The three services, that's the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the DRDO, in which we've had Mr. K. Nageshwar Rao, who's the Director DESIDOC, Director DPI, who's Shri Vipin Kaushik, Group Captain Manoj Pandey, and Mr. Tapash Sinha, Scientist G, all from the DRDO. They have been very proactive in helping us set up their exhibition, and the panel discussion that focused on the contribution of the DRDO to the advancement of Indian defense technology and Atmanirbharta. The NCC Directorate, and of course my good friend Colonel Prem Prakash and the CSKM School, the Department of Tourism, Ladakh, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, Fortinet, the British High Commission, and last but not least, the CMHCS team led by Dr. Archana Tyagi, and I owe a special debt of gratitude to her. I know I share some of her glory, but it is all reflected. She's the real star of the event. And her able sidekick, that is Mr. Aditya Bhalla, Commander Bhavna Salaria, Ms. Bharti Negi, Rakesh Agnihotri, and Ms. Ishika, the little girl who's been working continuously to make this event a success. And lastly, the interns from St. Stephen's, the Innovation Center, and the NCC cadets. All of you have contributed immensely. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, sir, and look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, and we finally come to a close of a very grand event. Thank you, everyone, for being here.